Since I started coding, learning had always felt like a struggle. I would have to search for one topic just to end up searching for a dozen more. Let's say I would search for how to filter some data in JavaScript, and I would end up with a lot of ways of doing so. It would normally feel a bit painful to learn or apply just one thing. And let's not forget having a scary amount of tabs open in my browser. Since ChatGPT was released, the way we can learn has changed a lot. This is also true for front-end development. Many developers are already integrating ChatGPT into their workflows, and honestly, if you want to learn faster and keep your skills relevant in the future, you should do the same. If you haven't tried ChatGPT yet, or if you're using it but don't feel like it's a game changer for you, then check out this video. It might just change your mind. In case you didn't know, ChatGPT is an AI chat that gives you the answers to whatever you ask. And definitely it comes with its caveats. I will mention them here, but honestly, I wish I had it when I started learning front-end development. I know I would have been job ready so much faster. Okay, let's get the most important aspect of ChatGPT in my opinion when learning front-end development, and that's getting direct answers to your questions. Just think about how much you can improve your productivity with this. Now, let's imagine you are learning JavaScript and you don't know why your code is not working. For example, let's say a certain condition is not running in your app, and for that, let's look at this example I've created. In this example, I've created a button within the body of this HTML page, and I've also created some JavaScript code here where we have a function named double apples, and within this function we have a variable named apples, which is where we are going to store the number of apples we have. Later on we have an if-else statement condition where we evaluate if apples is greater than 10. All of this is being evaluated when the user clicks on the button. Now there is a problem with this code, and looking for this kind of problem on the internet might not be straight away. You will need to probably read some documentation on what's the scope of a function or a variable. But if you literally copy and paste your code into ChatGPT, this one will tell you why it isn't working, giving you the fix for your code and its explanation. Isn't it this great? Let's have a look. Okay, so let's copy our code and go to ChatGPT and ask, explain why the code below is not working. And then we just paste our code below. And here it is, we have the fix of our code, and ChatGPT is also telling us why it wasn't working. So basically the if and else statement were outside of the function. The same you can do if you don't understand something explained in a video tutorial of JavaScript or a blog article. Now don't worry if you don't understand the technicalities of what I'm about to say. Let's imagine you are watching a video tutorial and you see that your instructor uses inner HTML to modify the content of an HTML element, but then uses inner text to do the same. This could be confusing because with both you can change the text of your HTML. Now with ChatGPT you can search for this and get direct answers when you ask, what's the difference between inner HTML and inner text? I mean, what can be more explicit and quick than this? Really, for me, one of the beauties of ChatGPT is to get direct answers. When we normally search for some content on the internet, we get indirect answers, and many times we don't know if what we have found is the answer to what we are looking for until we have already read the entire article. And I know frustration kicks in as we just kill our productivity. Now, hold on there because this is where it gets interesting. Let's talk about how to create effective prompt for ChatGPT. You see, ChatGPT is like us in a way. Whenever we ask a question to someone, if you provide more context to it, the other person will probably give you a better response. The same happens when you ask ChatGPT something. So there are various ways in which we can optimize its answers and make them as accurate as possible. I've been playing around with it since it came out, mostly to learn new tech or to improve my productivity at work, and I've found a better way to create prompts. For example, let's ask ChatGPT how to center an HTML element. Now, I see a few problems with these answers. First, it is overwhelming to have so many options like flexbox, grid, and absolute positioning. Second, you could probably just use auto margins for a block level element. And third, if you haven't realized, here ChatGPT hasn't mentioned anything about centering vertically an element. Now, let's try a different approach to how we build our prompt by being more specific. I want you to explain for an absolute beginner in a very concise way and providing a complete working example of it, how to horizontally center a block level HTML element using CSS. Now, this seems to me more of a clear answer. If you see, it gives you one approach for block level elements. It explains what happens when you set to auto the margins horizontally. It also explains that you have to set a certain width for the element, and finally provides you with a complete working example of it that now you can actually test in your machine. Now, what I'm saying here is that when you formulate better your questions, you have more chances to get a correct and more accurate answer from ChatGPT. This is something I'm not making out. This kind of way of creating an effective prompt is now called prompt engineering. I want you to have something in mind. Before a lecture in uni, a course, or anywhere you're learning from, revising the content prior to the class and coming up with questions will for sure set you for greater success. The same applies to ChatGPT. If you come with some prior knowledge and ask ChatGPT certain questions, you'll probably, one, have better questions to ask, and second, you will identify if the answer ChatGPT gives you makes sense. I do think that every form or shape of learning is complementary and we should take advantage of each of them, whether this is reading blogs, documentation, watching video tutorials, assisting classes, or working on projects. ChatGPT is only a tool and should be used as a complement for you to learn something new or maximize your productivity as well. Also, as the people behind ChatGPT mentioned on their page, ChatGPT can definitely screw up and give you wrong answers, meaning that you shouldn't trust blindly the information it provides you with. Trust me, I've found many times that it produces incorrect code for me. You should always clarify what you have learned from it by consuming information from other sources, for example. I strongly believe it is also beneficial to do this as our brains like to have different entries from where our learnings come from. Now, some key takeaways here. First, use ChatGPT to get direct answers and play with them. Don't be afraid of formulating your own questions in different ways. Second, formulate your prompts better. You can use the same framework I've used. This framework, I've called it the ACE-Q. So your prompt should have an audience. Most likely you want it to be concise. It should provide a working example and should have a very detailed question. Lastly, don't rely blindly on ChatGPT and also get your information from other sources. Sometimes we consume a lot of information, myself included, but necessarily don't apply what we have learned. At the end of this video, I would like you to take action on this and create some prompts on ChatGPT asking something about front-end development that probably you don't know, and then try to look for the same in the internet. This is of course with what I've explained in this video, and also let me know what did you like about using ChatGPT in the comments. For sure I'm going to keep using ChatGPT and learn more from it. This tool will continue growing and I encourage you to use it for your everyday learning from now on. If you want to support me, like this video, drop me a comment and also subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one. Bye bye.